You're listening to Question Reality. Question Reality with Priscilla Leona. Priscilla Leona.
Hi! Happy Halloween! Almost Halloween, everybody! This is Priscilla Leona, and I am producer and host of the show, Question Reality. And we are broadcasting to you live from Los Angeles, California. And our show will help you by providing tips, advice, and resource information on how and what it takes to make it in the entertainment industry. And we have a diverse range of people on the show. We have show business professionals that work at various levels as well. And our panel includes Oscar nominees. We have Grammy Award winners, Tony Award winners, reality TV. Let me say Tony. Oh, yeah, we have Tony Award winners. We have reality TV stars and just a whole diverse group, just all over the place. We have singers and actors and dancers and models and musicians and critics and talent agents and managers and entertainment lawyers. If they are working in entertainment, I am going to scoop them out and pluck them right onto this show. As you know, we have been on the air for over 20 years. So if you're interested in seeing advice from people who are in, say, you want to be a production assistant or you want to be a behind the scenes person, we do have those people on as well. And the way you would see the archive is going to the website, questionrealityradioshow.com, questionrealityradioshow.com. We also have I'm going to say about 98% of the shows from when I started way back in 2003. If you've been following the show, loyal listener, loyal follower, you know that we started on cable TV with Time Warner Cable, and we were 2003 to 2008, and then we were with LA Talk Radio 2008 until 2024. Yeah, this year. And now we're just video podcast. Yes, much better. We get to see the guest. Always better. Now, if you would like to appear on our show, here's how you do it. You go to Question Reality Radio Show. We have a contact link. Click the contact. Very easy. Your name, phone number, I think I don't even know what the heck they're asking for. Name, social media website, phone number. And that's it. I think that's it. And then you're on the vetting carousel. You can also email me at priscillaleona@yahoo.com. I'm always here for you 24/7. I got you covered. All right. Now, again, archive pages are not just on the website, questionrealityradioshow.com. They're also on the YouTube channel, as I said, and that's at Priscilla Leona. Facebook page at Priscilla Leona, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, Snapchat at Priscilla Leona. And again, I'm going to throw it back in there again. Website, questionrealityradioshow.com. And if we could ask a little favor of you, actually, this would be a Halloween treat. You can't give me candy, but you can do this for me. If you enjoy the show and you enjoy our guest on the show today, we would ask that you please subscribe to their channel. And I am going to give you their social media sites and websites in a couple seconds. But if you could do that, we would really appreciate it. And I personally will reciprocate. A lot of times people just go on sites and they watch something and they don't even bother liking it, or they won't even give it a little thumb up. And it's very important these days because that is the way of the world. So how hard is it? Just click and give a little like to our guests on the show. Okay. I have to show my Halloween shirt. As you know, I'm obsessed with Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And every year I wear my Halloween shirts, different shirts. And it's a perfect excuse to buy a whole new batch of Halloween clothes. So here is the one for today. Oh, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's lots of activity on there. Yes, very festive. I don't know how anyone could not participate in Halloween. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, best part of the show right now. Our guest tonight is, she's a stunner. Hot, gorgeous, sexy, beautiful. One of the most beautiful women I've laid eyes upon. I just got to tell you now. Anticipation, boys. Hold it down. Lock it down. Her name is Chhaya, and I hope that I'm pronouncing it right. See what I tell you? Look at that little gorgeous thing. Chhaya Nene or Nene. Oh boy, I should have asked her how to pronounce her last name, but she'll let us know in a couple seconds. She is an actress, a director, a writer, a model, a producer, a journalist, a marketing consultant, and an author. Talk about your multi-hyphenated women in the world. She is a multi-hyphenate. Now, her website is C is in cat, S is in Sam, N is in Norway, ENE, CSNENE.com, CSNENE.com. And her social media are Instagram at Chhaya Nene. I'm going to just say Nene. Oh, God, I hope that's right. At ChhyaNene. YouTube at, see, she's key. What do I say every week? What is my one tip? My one tip. Keep it consistent. Keep your branding consistent so people can find you across your website and your social media sites. And look, she's already doing it. Very impressed. Okay. You'd be surprised at the social media names that I get for some people over the years. Okay. YouTube at Chhaya S Nene, ChhyaSnene, and Facebook at Chhaya Nene, actress. Okay. All right. Oh, it's going to be Nene. I know it. Oh, my goodness. So there you go. So please go to her site and, again, subscribe. Give her a little thumb up. Believe me, you won't want to take your little thumb back because she is extremely worth a little like, a little follow, and a little subscribe. Wait until we start interviewing her. Okay. I'm going to read a little bit about her. She is, as I said, she is an actress, a director, a writer, a model, producer, a journalist, a marketing consultant, and an author. And she is just never afraid of a challenge, whether it's creating social justice focused mixed medium artwork, which we're going to have to find out what that is because I'm completely, I can't even imagine. I don't know what that is, not being an artist, so we'll find out. This artwork, the social justice focused mixed medium artwork, is currently on display at Basecamp Dinette in Burbank. And Chhaya is also trilingual, English, French, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Marathi, which is a language of West India. We have one of our dearest friends. His name is Minnie, and I can never pronounce his last name either. I want to say Ramaswamy, but I know it's not Ramaswamy. That's Vivek. Ramasamy. Thank you, executive producer. Ramasamy. Okay, we love him, but I think he's from South India. So let's see. Oh, And she is also responsible for writing and performing the South Asian version of the Vagina Monologues. And I just think she welcomes adventure. You can tell by all the multi-hyphenate names she has. She's up for anything. Now, as an actress, she's appeared on ABC's Big Sky. I watched that one time. I loved it. I don't know what happened. There's 50 million shows. And I thought, what happened to Big Sky? Why am I not watching that anymore? But I did love it the one time I watched it. General Hospital and Speechless. And in addition, you can also catch her on Netflix, The OA and BET's Sacrifice. Now, as a writer and director, Chhaya is responsible for 3 films that are making their rounds on the film festival circuit. As you can see from the poster that keeps going by, one of them is Curta Pants. I got to find out what that means. I know that has a significant meaning to the film. Never heard that term. Love it, though. Very catchy, rolls off the tongue. And Curta Pants is her directorial debut at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And she wrote this, directed it, acted. She cast the whole movie, produced it, and I know she stars in it as well. And just a whole bunch of other things that when you do an independent film, you pretty much have to do everything. It's all up to you. You're doing it all. Let's see. Now, she has just won for Curta Pants Best Short in Toronto and Los Angeles and Best Debut Director in Washington, D.C. And what I love is that she is out there submitting to all the film festivals. We're going to find out if she submits to my film festivals. As everyone knows, I'm a judge and screener for many film festivals, including Sholo Film Festival, Burbank International Film Festival, and soon to be another one. I was just asked to be a judge and screener, but I can't mention that yet until the contract's signed. Okay, so she's also a journalist, and she had articles that were published in the Washington Post, the Global Post, and the Reader's Digest. Love the Reader's Digest. Every time I hear that, it brings back such fond memories of my grandmother and I looking through it to find out what we're going to watch on a Friday and Saturday and Sunday night for the whole family. I appointed myself as entertainment director even at a young age, so love the Reader's Digest. Okay, without further ado, let's bring our gorgeous. Are you ready, people? Now, the pictures, as I said, do not do her justice. Men, prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. Women, just aspire to be as beautiful, and we'll all do fine. Without further ado, let's welcome her, Chhaya! I hope it's Nene.
Hi, everyone.
Did I get that wrong? How is it pronounced?
You're right, Chhaya Nene. You got it totally right. You were right.
Believe it. I usually mess everybody's name up. I'm very pleased with myself today. I'm going to have a little extra piece of Halloween candy a little later. You have just had such success with this film, and we're going to talk about that first. But I want to ask, now you forgot to add your actress, director, writer, model, producer, journalist, marketing, author. What about superhero? Or did we not add that on there? Where is that title? We need to add that to the list because very few humans can do all these things at once. This is amazing. Now, you obviously being able to do this, you have to be very disciplined, a very disciplined person to have all of these titles. So my first question to you is, how do you organize your time schedule? Because a lot of people somehow don't realize when they come out here to pursue a career as an actor, producer, director, that they are an entrepreneur, and you really have to have excellent time management. So can you first answer that question and get that out of the way.
Yeah, so I think you said it perfectly because we are a business, especially when you work for yourself or you're freelance, you're going to be an actor. This is your business. I am the business, and you have to handle that. So I prefer to wake up in the morning. I like to walk, do language lessons on my walk to the gym, work out, come back, and then I start my day. Because I think once we get this right and this right, the rest of it becomes easy. You feel at peace. And so I think meditation, language lessons, working out, then coming back and looking what you have for the day is very helpful. I also pre-plan the night before for what I want to do the next day. So then it's just easy. I think making your life a lot easier and giving yourself some steady calm is really what helps you. Like, we know the industry has been kind of crazy the last couple of years between the pandemic and the strikes. And like, the thing is, if you don't give yourself something to work on and work towards, and it has to be something you enjoy, you can't do it for like future accolades. If you don't give yourself these little projects, you'll get depressed. It's hard. It's hard as a creative when you feel like nothing creative is going on. So then I don't care if it's a TikTok. I tell myself every day, I've got to do something creative, something. It doesn't matter. And all of these little things that we do, like in the book Atomic Habits, it stacks up to a result eventually. And I think that's literally how I plan my day. It's either the night before or that day. And I leave room open because if we get an audition or we have to run somewhere, then it's just open. I have that time and it doesn't freak me out.
And now you mentioned that you incorporate language classes in the morning. Yeah. What are you talking about, language classes?
So I speak Marathi, I speak French and English, as you mentioned, but I don't speak Spanish. And oftentimes people think I'm Hispanic. So I'm like, okay, well, let me learn the language. So I'm teaching myself. I understand Hindi, but I'm not fully conversational in Hindi yet. And so I'm teaching myself Hindi as well. And then I brush up on the French because I'm a true believer in if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm trying to keep up as much as possible for that.
Yeah, you do. Now, what tips do you have for aspiring people who come out here and they don't know how, because not everybody has natural organization skills. I thought that because I'm that way, and I thought everyone in the world was like that. And I was very shocked to find out that not everybody is like that. Like, I make my to-do list and then I have to check everything. I can't even focus unless I got everything checked off on the to-do list, if I can do it. Usually I get 99%, but you're going to miss something. But what tips or advice do you have for people who don't know how to do that and they need to schedule? They have to start learning to schedule and moving forward with all of these things that they need to do.
I use my calendar. Honestly, on Google, I use my calendar, and I'll admit, like, sometimes it's an all or nothing for me, which I'm trying to change that, of like having this happy medium, because sometimes I'm like on my game and other times there's chaos. And I think that I just realized in chaos, I don't feel great. You know, and I want to find the things that help me feel like, even if you do one thing for yourself, they say 3 things: 1 for your emotional state, 1 for your mental state, 1 for your physical state. And I keep the rule of 3 for myself. So I'm like, okay, as long as 3 things of that get done for a day, it's an accomplishment. My tip is really that calendar. If you write it down, you're more likely to do it because you're holding yourself accountable. And that really helps me. Like you said, if it's on the to-do list or if it's on my tasks or Google Keep or calendar reminders, if it's like coming at me, then it's like, okay, I have to do these things. And you're right. I think the other part is we have to give ourselves grace, because you are going to miss something, and that's okay. You will forever have a to-do list for the rest of your life. You will never be 100% done with everything, and that part is okay. You just got to take the first step, and all of that builds up. It's a mental shift that you have to go through. And by the way, unless you're ready, until you've come to that by yourself, you're not going to do it. Like, nobody can force you to do it. You have to mentally come to the place where you're like, ready to do something now. And when you are ready to do that, write that down. Have quarterly goals. I think this is super helpful, where I have each quarter what I want to do. And I break down, okay, in this quarter, this quarter, this quarter. And then I review the quarter at the end to be like, what got done? And what can I slide to somewhere else? Because there's too much going on. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's very hard for some people, but other people, it's very easy. So if it's something that you're having a hard time and you're procrastinating, you got to question whether or not you're very serious at this point in your life about your career. Now, you have created social, I gotta focus on saying this. Okay. You've created social justice focused mixed medium artwork, which is currently on display at Basecamp Dinette in Burbank. Now, I'm not familiar with what that is. What exactly is this type of art? What is that?
So social justice is a theme in my life. So what I do is I also like to recycle. I'm a big recycling dork. So I've kept all of my crayons that I had from school, and I melted them down. So I paint with acrylic and crayons, and I do pieces on kind of the current social political climate that we're going through. When George Floyd happened and we had conversations around that, one of the conversations that was being had is that Black women's voices were being erased. So I have a piece of a woman almost mermaid-like underwater where her mouth is almost erased and the colors are blue and they come from crayons. I melt them and I paint like that because I want to recycle, and I also want to capture these moments that are in our time that we just don't get to have another conversation about, or history moments. Like I painted the Taj Mahal with a minaret missing because the legend is that Shah Jahan cut off the hands of everyone who built the Taj Mahal so that nothing as beautiful would ever be built again, because it was built for his wife. And I think that was just like an interesting piece of time, but also like at the time there's a lot going on between like pollution and different things and the turmoil. So that painting that I did is all in like red and orange, but there's also beauty amongst chaos. And I wanted to capture all of those emotions and myths, and those are my pieces. So it's like mixed art in terms of mixed mediums with acrylic and melted crayons. And I try and put a little bit of our history in these pieces so they stay forever.
Right. Now, we had someone log in. I think that was the Manny Rama. God, I want to call him Ramaswamy. Okay, I'm about Manny R. Can you say hi to Manny? Manny, there it is.
Hi.
Ramaswamy. There we go.
Yes, Chhaya, how are you? I'm glad you're here. And yes, I see you. It's here for me on my screen, and I can see.
Oh, can you see it? Okay. Yeah, he's from Western. No. You're from Western India. He's from Southern India. But I've learned so much from him. I learned that there's different languages and dialects for all of these parts of India. Approximately how many are there?
Oh my gosh, dialects has got to be like at least, I want to say the last number I heard was like 14 like main concentrations, and then in anywhere from 78 to 200 dialects. And I think that's even in I noticed that when I go back as well. Like it's hard. He's the million. Can see.
Oh, Tamil.
Oh, yeah, it's the million, which is awesome. I'm Maharashtrian, and even then, when we go in different parts of Maharashtra, our language is Marathi, and it changes, right? There's different accents and words that are being used that I don't sometimes quite catch because every region is different. And I want to, I guess, picture it to like in the South, we say people have Southern accents, right? Sometimes, and you can hear different accents depending on where you are in the US. It's like that in India as well.
Now, you do not have an accent. From what I know of Indian accents, you don't have an accent at all. Were you born in India or were you born here?
Yeah, I was born here, and then I've tried, and our parents have done a very good job of helping us keep the culture and keep, like what I really appreciate is I feel like sometimes when culture or traditions are pushed upon you, sometimes you run away when you have one foot in both worlds. But our parents offered it as a choice. And having that choice and learning the language and practicing in movies and car rides and all of that, it was easier for me to want to keep the culture. You can see a big diya or panti in Marathi behind me. It's Diwali. It's our first day of Diwali, which is our holiday. So it's a very big deal. And I love celebrating it. Like I have parties here at my house. I've dressed up from another shoot that I'm doing. And it's just something that, I don't have an accent. But when I do speak Marathi, obviously there's a bit of an American accent that can come in from times because I was born here. But I do my best to speak in Marathi and in French without an American accent, but it does creep in sometimes.
Right. Now, I don't know if you're noticing it, but you are freezing like crazy on the screen. Are you able to see how you're frozen looking up to the Lord?
Not at all. You guys are super clear. I don't see it at all.
But you see both of us on the screen, but you see yourself moving. It's just me that's seeing you. Okay, so you're completely frozen on the screen.
Oh my
but
gosh. Weird.
I don't know why, but usually it's an internet connection. I don't know if that is going to affect how the show is, like if you're going to be frozen or if it's going to come out that
Lagging.
just normal. I don't know. But just to let you know, oh, there you are. You're back again. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. So with you not having an accent, if you were, say, someone wanted to cast you in a Bollywood movie, could you do the accent very easily? Or
Yeah. Yes, the accent comes like also here. I've played Indian characters who have accents, and that can come back really quickly. And so I will do the accent. I do the accent, like you said, if it's for Bollywood, then or for like Indian film festival. Oh, Money is saying I'm still frozen, so maybe is that delayed? Am I delayed on your end?
Well, I'm just moving along quickly, but it might be your internet connection. It's not too good because you're the first person's ever frozen, so you might have a slower internet.
I'm sitting right by the router, so I hope today. But
well, we do what we can. Your face is frozen, so I just want to warn you when you watch it. Go, what the hell happened? What the hell?
I'm glad.
Maybe for next interview. Maybe next interview, do a test before with a friend, and that way you can.
It was fine earlier today, so maybe just Spectrum is having its deal tonight.
Spectrum's having a moment, having a Halloween, spooky moment.
Dang.
Okay, so okay,
so I can do the accent. I don't know if I'm still frozen, but I can definitely do the accent.
Well, your voice is fine. It's just your face is frozen. But as long as we can see your voice, I mean, see your face and hear your voice, that's great. Okay, so now can you this your artwork? It's at a place called Basecamp Dinette in Burbank. Now, where can we get tickets if we want to come and see your work? Is it free? Do we have to buy tickets?
Yeah, it's a cafe, so you can just come in and see it, and they had it on their walls. I just swapped it out with them recently, and so it's here, and I'm hoping to get it up at LACMA. That's one of my goals, is to have the artwork there, because it would just be awesome to have some of the pieces. That's my goal. Like, why not? That's the other thing, is that we should all be trying to get our work out there, and the worst someone can say is no, and if it's a no for now, because you'll find another place for it.
That's right. My motto is no is a yes in disguise. I have always said that. And, people say no, I don't even hear it. I just go, oh, okay, let me just approach that a little differently. Now, you also speak French. Now, as you said, languages you have to know so much when you are working in this industry. The more you know, the better. So you know English, French, Marathi, and you're learning a different language all the time. There are also things that you should do as well. Maybe you could think of some more, but for the more things you can put under the special skills on your resume, the better. Believe it or not, there are always casting directors. I have tons of casting director friends, like A-list casting directors. And when we talk, they always say, Priscilla, do you know an egg tosser? Oh my God. Yes, I do. I make notes. Like when I meet people, I make notes. Like, for example, my very good friend, Jason Michael Kennedy, he casts for all the NCIS, right?
Yeah, Jason's great.
Yeah, so sometimes they need very strange things that people do, like egg tossing, fire breathing. You just never know. So I always keep notes. And when my friends call me, they always know that I know the weird people. I know the not weird people, but kind of all outside the norm occupations or skill sets. But yeah, you just never know. What skills besides the language have you decided you were going to add to your repertoire?
I wrestle. I was on the all boys wrestling team growing up in Northern Virginia, and I can wrestle. I love wrestling. I translated that skills and parlayed that skills even to our world, where I played a wrestler in a commercial with Lindsey Vonn for Reese's. It was like amazing. Like, this is something that I can do. I'm very passionate about wrestling. It's just something that's like, I don't know, it's in my blood, and I've always appreciated, respected it. So that's one skill that I definitely have. And the journalism helps as well when I have to play a reporter, which I do. So I have journalism, I have wrestling, I cook, I paint, and not like, you know, cooking with like mac and cheese, although I love mac and cheese. I also can cook more than those two things. And I'm also a yogi. I didn't realize that I could do yoga until about 5 years ago. And I just wanted to see if I had the flexibility. And, you know, I do believe yoga has come from our culture, and I hadn't been doing a lot of it. And so I just tried, and I'm actually really good at yoga. And so,
wow. What does it take to be really good at yoga? Because I see them bending in all those pretzel positions or doing the downward dog. And of course that would be hard. I could never do that. But what do you have? I think that a lot of my friends tell me that yoga is mandatory for them in order to focus, because they're on the set for 12, 14, 15 hours, and it's very, very difficult to stay centered. But I tried yoga and I fell asleep. It's too, I don't know what it is, but I just can't. I can't find the what is it called when you find the, you do your fingers like that in your, it's called finding your, oh God, I can't. I had a friend who was Thai, and he used to go to the retreats to do yoga, and he would drag me along. Of course, he was going for the wrong reasons. He wanted to meet girls, but he would drag me. And so there was a monk, and we were in a circle, and we had to do the deep breathing, and we had to put our fingers like that. He said, you got to find your, and I don't remember the word, but
there's
maybe it's different in Thai. Yeah. Maybe it's different in Thai. Yeah.
Yeah, there's different ways. But you know, being good at yoga is like, it's breathing. There's so many different variations of like, this is pranayama where you breathe, and it's just, that's easy. I try and tell myself, like, even if you do, because we move so fast, like 10 minutes a day after a workout, if I can, if not one pose a day. It doesn't have to be. Yoga is like your mental state along with your physical state. You don't have to be super flexible to do yoga. You touch your toes, that's yoga. You know, you're like breathing and concentrating, and you touch one leg, you just like, this can be yoga, right? Like, we're just taking time to stretch our body out and connecting our breaths, our thoughts. And it does, the calmness that I have found with yoga and meditation, which I can't believe I'm saying this because I did not grow up with wanting to do yoga or meditation at all. I was just like, oh, I don't know what that is. And it's just unbelievably calming in a way that I'm like, I feel like myself again when I'm able to do it.
Now, I am captivated by, you told me the name of the jewels on your forehead. Yeah. What are the name?
So this is a bindi right here. And then everyone has a different word for what this is, just headpiece jewelry. Like, we have, you can do it for weddings, you can do it for shoots. If you have a red line, usually it's vermilion, which means you're married. Younger girls will have different colors of bindis. And just different designs, or we call them in Marathi tiklis. Like, everyone has a different word for what they use, but there are decorations. I will give a little spoiler because for only people on the show, I haven't really discussed this with anybody. But every Halloween, I try to play some character that has a lot of meaning. So I started a couple years ago playing the Indian female freedom fighters, who were badasses and like fought against the British. One lady fought with her baby on her back. And so one year I went as her to a bar with my friend, and I just said, ask me, let's have a conversation about these legends of where we came from. This is our heritage. This is our lineage that we came from, and no one talks about it. I've seen so many movies on other people, and I was like, I don't want these women to be forgotten, people who opened schools. So I try and take my clothing and emulate. And today, Halloween is coming up on Thursday. I love Halloween, love Halloween. But I wanted to be someone who's alive this year and who was really considered one of the first female like powerhouses, if you will, actresses. Her name is Vagina. My parents showed us her movies growing up. They grew up with it. And she is 91, I believe. She's still alive. And she was dancing, like full on dancing in February at the opening of a temple back in the time. So she's still moving. You know, she is moving and she's legendary. And I wanted to honor the women who opened the doors for us at that time. She did movies where she got some flack and controversy. And so I'm her today. And there's a famous song in which she has this yellow and red. And I wanted to capture some of her spirit and some of the color that she had as well. And my hair, you know, the flowers and the pieces that are there. It's just an honor and an homage to those people. And I worked with a makeup artist who's from Bangalore in the South, and she did my makeup, and my friend gave me my part done. The clothes are from a commercial that I did. My friend shot it, and my other friend assisted. And it's like, these are the people and stories that I want to uplift all of us as artists. This gives us something to look forward to. Yeah. So this is my Halloween, you know, and this is why I'm here.
And I just ever since I met our friend Manny, who's my husband's coworker, I've learned so much about the Indian culture. I mean, I already love Indian food. As a matter of fact, I can cook some Indian food.
Yes, please.
I can cook the chicken tikka masala and I can cook it. I love it. I can't get the vindaloo. It's a little out of my league. Now that's a little too spicy for me. I mean, everything just starts draining out of every orifice with the vindaloo. But he took us to a Indian, what is it called? Manny, if you're still with us, where did you take us to that Indian temple? Oh, it was.
Was it Malibu or was it in Chino Hills? I'm sure it's one of the two.
What? Give me the names again.
Was it in Malibu or Chino Hills? Because the Chino Hills.
Chino Hills.
It's spectacular. Yeah. Both temples are stunning. Like they're like orange. It's gorgeous, right?
I had never been, and everything is carved out of wood. All the statues in the ceiling, or marble. And then he introduced us to the thank you, Manny, Swami Narayana. Well, I don't know if that's the temple. Is that? He's a little behind with it. But he got there. But it was so wonderful. Do you go there to?
Yes, I went last Diwali for it. My brother and I went to that temple, and it's funny because you drive by it on the highway, and you're like, "Man, I should stop. Man, I should stop." And last year we went, and it really is like, I mean, temples and stuff like that in India are also not every temple, but temples are built like that. And when you see it, you're like, "My God, this is gorgeous!" And we have one here in Southern California, and you can go, and it was just like. Oh my God, it was so pretty. And they had fireworks shows and light displays. And it was just like, it's perfect.
Oh, it's so beautiful. We're in downtown Los Angeles, but I told my husband, we have got to have Manny take us back there because I'm Baptist, but I felt like I was ready to convert. That is how spiritual I felt when I went in that temple, Chhaya. It was so moving. And Manny told us about the various gods. And I'm like, where's the God for beauty? I want to look 29 forever. Where's that God? Take me now. But no, it was so, so wonderful. And I look forward to going back. Do you get, what I love is that you are pioneering your career by writing your own stuff. For example, you wrote and performed the South Asian version of the Vagina Monologues. Now, I haven't ever seen the original play, so I don't know what it's about, but how did you write your piece to make it different? Did you change the title? You know, if so, tell us about that.
It started, there's 4 of us who co-wrote this together, and it started with something called Yoni Ki Baat, which are like, it translates to vagina stories, which doesn't sound as exciting as what it really is. And so it was like, you know, like, it's like, and it's a rough English translation. Nothing's ever like Yoni Ki Baat is just like, I don't know. We wanted to like really explore what that was and then kind of go through. So 4 of us came together, and it started out with many, many more women who all wanted to get together and talk and have these conversations. And what we realized as we were telling our stories is that there was a common thread, but many different voices doing it. And so it came down to 4 of us producing the show that we called Yoniverse. Basically, it's like our universe, and it is the center. It is the crux for a lot of things. So Yoniverse became this thing that it's whenever you talk about that, right? Like, we don't always have those conversations in our culture and with our family and friends, but it is so important for us to do that. And the 4 of us really felt that way. We were all scared in our own ways of like, what are we going to talk about? How much are we going to reveal? In what context are we going to do that? And I've always, everyone had their finding their way through it. But for me, I was like, I've always found that the truth is better for me, to be very honest. So it is my real life. And I'm also, I wrote in poetry. And so my entire, basically, besides intro and outro, is done through poetry. Everything is like written in that way. And that is my voice of expressing what it is, along with truths that happened to me in my life. And it was cathartic to move past some of the things that I felt shame or taboo or stigma about. And the number of women and men who had conversations with us after, and people who identify as they, them, like, it was insane how much my own grandmother and my mother and my father and my both brothers came to see it. My grandma said at 92 that she learned more about herself through this play. And that is something that, like, that's what we want. Our grandmothers, our mothers, our aunts, our uncles did not have this chance. Even people in our peer group don't always get to have these conversations with their parents. But if we can be the voices and talk, it was like 4 girls who never would have come together. And we wrote this, and now we're developing it into a feature together. And it's really just this special piece that we did. Yeah, we had 10 sold out shows. It was just incredible. We won like best drama, it was insane, really telling our stories. And it's just something that, to this day, actually, one of the girls in there, she gave me this dupatta to wear, this yellow piece that I'm wearing. She gave it to me. And like, we are like that with each other. We go to each other's events, and it created this sisterhood. So it's 4 real 45 minutes, 4 women, our real stories through life. We take you through adolescence, teenage years, and where we are today.
And are you all Indian, or is it?
Yes, we're all Indian, but again, very different backgrounds and eras. One of our girls lived in Singapore, right? So she's Indian, but she has a different experience of what that means. Another one's from Texas, so she has another experience. Another girl's from the Midwest. So all of our experiences of being Indian are so different, and that's what's important. We're not monoliths. And I think having this play showed how you could have 4 girls that you would just assume were the same. And we have such different experiences while also having similarities. And our play is literally interwoven through that.
And you, where did you did you go to East West Players, or where?
We had it at the Fringe, and from the Hollywood Fringe, we took it out beyond that. We're trying to see where it would have the best audience. We had some encore performances as well at different theaters. And then, we thought about it, and we thought, the feature is really a good place for us to do it. We'd probably still do a couple of live shows. And it's hard when people watch a recording or they hear about it, because in person, you're with us for 45 minutes. We're in the story, and we don't have a lot of props. Our scarves that we use, these are dupattas, and we use that to tell the story. We all have a different color, and it's literally interwoven like a tapestry. It's pretty amazing.
I want to see it. Are you going to bring it back, or is it done?
Yeah, I think we I don't know if we'll do shows here. We're still talking about that. We are going to finish the feature and then do live shows to accompany that. But I also have a link that I can send you. It's just different.
Yeah. Maybe you taped it. And I can see the. Yep. Did you tape it? Okay. So you are going to put that into script form and turn it into a feature, correct?
Yep, sure are.
Have to be involved.
Yes.
I'm a producer of many films. Contact me. I have to be involved with my first indie. I do Christmas movies. I do all different types of movies. I've never been involved with an Indian production. So let me know. You've appeared now on ABC's Big Sky, General Hospital, Speeches. The Netflix is the OA. I have never heard of that. What is that about?
Oh my gosh. I would say, like, if you're a sci-fi fan and you like out of like almost alien experiences, it's a show for you to watch. It was so fun. It's got a pretty like committed following to the show. I'm on the second season, and I play a sassy nurse. And I actually do want to tell you guys the story because I feel like this is a thing that I learned as an actor. It was a moment that day that I went for the audition. I don't know what happened. I was just out of it or having a very busy day, and I plugged in my hair dryer and it sparked, and that spark fell on my shirt and literally burnt a hole in my shirt. So I didn't have my clothes to wear and I was running late. So I ran in my car, put my head out the window. My hair was like this frizzy, right? Just drying out the window. I went to a friend's place. I'm like, I know you have scrubs. She gave me her scrubs. I ran all the way to the audition. Like I looked crazy. But then that put me in this nice state of like, what else can go wrong? I was on fire this morning. Like literally we're fine.
Yeah.
And I auditioned and I found out that I booked it. And not only did I like book it, because I was in this free state of like, sometimes when things go crazy, it opens you up. And I booked it. And then on set, when they called me set, they're like, whatever you did to your hair for the audition, do that. I'm like, no, I'm not burning a hole again. I'm not putting my hair in the car. I will not, but it was funny because I was like sleep deprived, but I guess I looked just like a sassy nurse and it was great.
Oh my God. Yeah, you never know what is going to happen to you, and you think you're having the worst day, and then you just get cast in something. I've heard everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's free because you're not in that like perfect, like my audition has to be like this and I have to be like this. It's not like that. You're like, well, I've been burned. So literally let's just go. Whatever you need, I got it. Let's have fun.
True. It's true. One time back as I told you, I have lots of friends who are casting directors and they're always trying to put me in something because I'm a little fluffy. I call myself a little fluffy fur ball. So whenever they have something open for a fluffy fur ball, they're like, Priscilla, can you audition? No, I used to though. I used to act because when I came out here to go to UCLA Film School, I said to myself, I want to start from the ground up. I think that's the only way. And I'm going to be a production assistant. I'm going to be a background actor. I'm going to do this. So I found that I love doing background stuff. So a friend of mine who was casting for the LA Opera, it's a very famous opera production called Der Rosenkavalier, and it was for the role of the Merry Widow. And she said, well, you don't really have to audition, but you kind of do have to audition. But so anyways, I'm in the elevator going up with this one man who's wearing a hippie jacket with fringe on, one of these suede fringe coats. Well, I honestly love the coat. I start telling him stories about my Aunt Eva, who used to be an actress on Broadway. And we were talking, and we get off the elevator together. I go into this room. There's like 100 people auditioning for this one role. Oh. I said, oh, hell, well, I'm just going to have a good time. I'm just going to do whatever they ask, and then I'm going to Burger King. So I'm like, that was my motivation. Get through this, son, get to Burger King. Well, it turns out the guy who I was talking to in the fringe jacket was the person who was casting for Der Rosenkavalier, and he cast me just sightseeing in the elevator. I got cast, and I was literally standing. They put, how when you're on Broadway, you get in the lines.
Yeah.
And then so I was in the front line. I don't know how I got there, but I was in the front line. And he said, okay, I'm going to pick her. Everybody else, thank you very much. And I felt like I was in the Stepford Wives because all of them went, oh my God, they were throwing me hot darts. And I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. But it's weird. I didn't know who this man was. This was a very bizarre situation in which I got cast. And every time when I was doing background stuff and I would go to the auditions, weird things would happen. So when you were telling me about your little incident, I now say, oh, please let something happen to me. Please let something bad. Well, I don't go anymore. But after that, I said, oh, please let something weird happen, because then I know I'm going to get cast. And it just went on and on and on and on like that. My God. But yeah, I welcome it. So don't get stressed out.
Yeah.
My tip for people when you go on auditions and bad things happen, do not let that unnerve you, because that could mean that you're getting cast. Look at China.
Or you may not ever hear. That's the other thing I want to stress is like one time, I'm not kidding you. Like I was wearing a gorgeous reporter dress and I went in at the time for Will and Grace. And I still remember this. And my makeup bottle randomly exploded. I'm talking foundation, like on my chest. I walked outside and a bird pooped on me. And I was like, what the heck is happening? I ran to the bathroom and I'm trying to like clean up, and I asked someone to borrow their jacket and they did not want to give it to me. I'm like, that's totally fine. So I went in, I just held my paper like literally right over me, and I was like, God, I look like the most dirty reporter. My God. Turns out my tape went to producers. It was crazy. Like you just don't know. So I think, it just goes to show you, like when your attention is now removed off yourself and onto what you're doing in the work, and you're not worried about this, what it looks like, what you're just present. And that presence, and same thing for you in the elevator, you as a human showed, and that's what they're attracted to. That like there's nobody else like you, and there never will be.
Yes. And I tell you, that's the whole problem with, my friends who are casting directors, because they're always trying to get me to go out for these parts. But I don't want to be anybody else but me. I don't have the desire to personally play other characters. I want to watch them, but I don't want to play them because I just want to, be myself. I'm happy being myself. I told them, if you can get me like a Roseanne show, we'll talk. But other than that, now, which show did you've been on so many things, but which show did you really love your character the most, and why? You played a lot, so that's going to be reaching far, and why? Maybe most recently, maybe within the last years.
I will tell you, most recently I was on Big Sky, and that experience in and of itself was beautiful because I tend to get cast by female directors, which I've noticed. Like I track all my data. That's my other big tip for actors. I track every audition, what I wore, the day, what was submitted, the time, how I felt. With like all of that helps me with metrics later down the road. So I have an Excel sheet, and that day that I'd done the audition again, it was a crazy thing. I was in Virginia, like there was a pipe sticking out of my wall. I just covered it. My hair was crazy, and I was like, whatever. I did it, and when I went there on set, it was a collaborative effort. Like there were lines that was like, I don't think anyone, sometimes when the mood is right. And so I advocated for myself, and I said, hey, is it okay if we try a take like this? I think this would work really well for my character because I really loved her. She was a whistleblower and she's smart and fierce. And the director, she said yes. She was like, yeah, we can try a take. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But not only did we try the take and talk it out and have a conversation before, it worked out so well that I came back for ADR to add more lines after. And it was just like really cool to take ourselves out of the role of like hierarchy, which there is. Like, look, we have to earn our dues and pave our ways. And I do believe that like you earn your places in terms of like your work ethic. But I wasn't reaching up, I was reaching across at that time. And I think that is something that was really cool to have a director be a collaborator with me. And like, yes, it's her call at the end of the day, but it was done respectfully and we talked about it. And it's there in the final edit. Like I made the final edit. The script had changed so much by the time we'd gotten to the final edit, but like that whole piece is there. And I was really proud for advocating for my character and myself, and having someone on the other side who meant that, not just her, but like network has to sign off on it. So it went through everybody. And like, I have, I guess, a good story for all the shoots I've done where either the actors or the directors or the producers have made sure that like my voice was heard and they were there for it. And I really, really love that.
I'm glad you brought that up because a friend of mine, her name is Mary Lou Belli. She's a 6-time Emmy-winning director. Right now, she's working on the Miss Pat show, but she directed NCIS New Orleans. Oh, God, her resume, like 20,000 pages long. But anyway, I asked her that question. I said, how do you feel about actors coming up to you and trying to direct themselves in scenes, because I hear horror stories like, never do that. Don't talk to the stars. Don't talk to the producers. Don't talk to the directors. And she said, that's totally cool. If you have an idea and you feel very, very strongly about it, you should always share it. You know, and what's the worst that could happen? They say no, and then so what? But I would encourage actors to. I don't think you should be scared being on the set and afraid to voice your opinion. You might know a little bit about the character that the director might like or the writer might like and put it in. You never know. So I say absolutely.
Now, and it's not disrespectful. You're right. You can't just be like, hey, my idea's better. It has to just be like, hey, can we try a take that's like this? If that's open, and you'll know when the mood is right, the area is right for you to be a collaborator. And other times you show up, go in, do it, and you go home, and it's perfectly fine. I think you just have to listen to that voice that tells you inside that, listen, you're in the right space, have a conversation. This person wants your ideas. They've set it up like, hey, let's talk through something. You come then, and in that situation.
Yeah. So don't be afraid, but don't be crazy with every single thing going up to the actor. Now, what star, I'm talking star, what star of any of the shows or movies you've worked on, can you tell us that you really loved working with and why? Somebody that we would know, of course.
Okay. I will tell you, this was my first show ever, and she stands out for me, Minnie Driver. She stands out for me, in Speechless. And the reason I say it was the first time I booked a network show. And both she and John Ross, they were so kind to me. And I told them it's my first one. And I was very shy about can I take a picture on this side? And they were like, yeah, of course. You can absolutely take the picture. And she, sometimes they have a PA after they're done with their scenes, read your lines back to you when it's your coverage. And she said, no, I want to give this to Chhaya. So she stayed after she was done to make sure that she read lines across from me. So I had a performance with her. And she didn't leave after her take. She stayed for all the takes that we needed to get, whether it was safety, whatever we needed. She stayed to be present with me. And that is just something I will always remember. And that it was just kindness. She didn't have to do that. But I have remembered it to this day that she was not only kind for staying, she took pictures, she was super encouraging and loving, and so was John. And it was just, I will always have that experience.
Yes, I find that I don't have, with the exception of one person, which I didn't have direct dealing with the person, but we have a question. Manny's asking you, if God appeared in front of you and he is offering only one gift for you, what would you ask for?
Oh gosh. I know this is going to sound maybe funny, but the health and wellness of my friends and family. That, I'm very, very close to my family and my friends, and I worry about them. So I would say
Are they all here? Are they all here, your family?
Pretty much. Everyone's on the East Coast. I actually live with my brothers, so I have part of them here, and I have my other family on the East Coast, and I have family in India and Germany. Everyone's all over, but my parents and grandmother and cousins and uncles and everyone are pretty much here, except for a few on the other side. But I would say, if I wanted something, I would ask, I like to, when I pray, and I do pray, and then I ask, I imagine a circle encompassing everybody, just to make sure that they're okay, that their dreams, their goals, and their health stay safe. I think about that for all my extended family and my family, and that's what I would ask for.
Yeah, I like that. Now, why did you want to become an actress or in the entertainment industry? What do you love most about working in the entertainment industry overall, in any capacity, writer, actor, director?
I knew I just knew when I was 8 when I started doing hosting in my elementary school. They had a job for a reporter, and my mom worked with me, and I became the host of it in elementary school. So I knew that I had this in my DNA. And then in middle school, in 8th grade, I went on a modeling trip, and I knew I was in New York City, and I just knew in my bones that I'd be going to LA. I knew that through the modeling, the acting stuff, I loved it so much. It's I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I promised myself that one day I will be in LA and I will be doing this. And
What did your family say? Because traditional Indian families, not all of them want their children to work in the entertainment industry.
My parents wanted us. They wanted us to follow our dreams, but they did say, like, when I wanted to go into acting as a degree, they were like, no, and no, because you need to do something else that gives you more chances. And at the time, I didn't like it. So they were like, what about journalism? You've done it. You're good at it. I did reporting since elementary school, middle school, high school. Like, I've done all of that. And so, like, I don't know. But I will say, to their credit, that it was the best thing I could have done, because I found to actors out here, like, please don't get your degree in acting. And I say that with love, because I found that you need other things. Like you were mentioning skill sets earlier and special skills. You need something that makes you interesting so we can talk beyond the work. Like, it is terrible when you go to a party and no one wants to, like, ask you how you are. It's just like this weird transactional state that we live in. But, like, you have to live life so you have a base to draw on for your artistry. And I think doing the journalism, studying abroad, traveling everywhere, that gave me a base that I can pull from for character work. And I will tell you, that promise I made to myself in New York last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in New York for an Oscar qualifying film festival for my film Curta Pants, and we won Best Comedy. So I made it full circle from New York to LA, back to New York for my own film. And so, I don't know, I'm so happy and proud.
So you're from the East Coast, so am I. I'm from Connecticut, and then lived in Maryland, went to Towson State in Maryland, so when I graduated from Towson State, I was trying to figure out, do I want to go to New York and work in theater, or do I want to go to LA? Obviously, it would have been better and easier to stay on the East Coast with that support system. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go out to LA. I want to see what that's all about. When I moved out here, I knew no one, not one single person. Now, I moved out here, not one single person. What made you want to come to LA? Was it obviously, okay, so let's make people understand. Okay, so if you want to do theater, back then you would go to New York, but now television has opened up a lot more in New York, with FBI, Law and Order. So now there's a lot of shooting going on, but there wasn't much activity. So people would we're talking 92 here. So you would go to New York if you wanted to pursue theater. If you wanted to be a film or television or commercial actor, you would come to LA. So that's why I decided to come out here. Why was that the same reason you wanted to focus more on the film and television?
Yes, I wanted to do the acting, film, and television, but also, like, I had visited college campuses when I was going, and I went for my master's, and I had applied in undergrad to USC at the time, and I had gotten on the wait list, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try again for grad school. And when I got in, I was like, this is the chance that I promised myself. I am going. And I, like, the day that I got the degree, the master's degree, I told my parents, I'm like, I'm doing the acting. Like, I got the degree. I did that. Like, I will do journalism as well, which I did. But I also spent a year learning what a set was, and I had roommates that had been on sets. So I was trying to learn as fast as I can so that by the time I got out of my grad school, then I would be able to pick up quickly what a set was. But I still needed some time. And listen, I was naive because I thought, after spending the year learning, I booked in August. I will still remember, I booked Speechless, my national commercial where I got this outfit from, and I booked a indie movie. So I booked all three of these within like a week of each other. Wow. And I was like, acting is great, guys. Like, I love this industry. And little did I know.
What the hell are people complaining about? They can't find work out here. Look at me.
It was great. And then I learned, then I learned after that. I was like, okay, this is like, it was, but you know what? That joy and like 2017 was great. I booked a bunch of national commercials that year as well. But it was like really cool, to learn how the industry works and that there are pitfalls and there are like these peaks and valleys that we go through that you have to learn how to survive. And I feel like now is a collective valley time. Like, because of the investigative journalism, I listen to the news quite a bit, and I look at Film LA and I like to see where the metrics are and where the tax incentives are going. And I created kind of a different business strategy for myself in the pandemic when I realized that so much work was migrating out of LA. There's still work here, but it's not the same. Like I used to have to change in my car because I had so many auditions between the two, and it was different. But now it's evolved where there's a self-tape that comes, and then you're like, okay, now I have a setup, like I can do it if I need to. But I miss the magic of the room, and I know self-tapes are here to stay, I get it. But I miss this like moment. And so when I came to LA, I just like, there's a pulse in the city. And if you're here, you know it when the industry is going, and when people are, it's a frenetic little current that's in the city. And New York has it too in a different way, but you can feel it, and the creative energies and juices that come. And then when you have all these creative people together, you're just like, let's create. This came out of that energy today when I called my friend, I'm like, we have to do it. I'm telling you, it's in here. Like I think every artist has this calling, and it is just like a soul calling where you know you're in the right place and you have to do it. Like I don't feel this way about anything else of work. Like it's this. I can't believe they pay us to work when I'm on set. I'm like, this is not work. I'm having fun. This is joyous. Like that high. It's like, I tell people there's no better feeling than when you're doing something like this and it feels like this, because you know that this is what this is, you know?
Yes. And so what did you do? So you came out here in 2017. What did you do during the pandemic?
I came here a little bit before. I came here in 2012 for grad school and stuff. And then, but in the pandemic, it was really odd. I started pivoting in terms of, I started directing kids programming, which helped me because then I directed my short later. So I directed kids programming. There's an app called ABC Mouse, and that was kids learning. And so I directed the episodes for that. And that was really, really cool. And I also started wanting to do something where we gave back. So I started making sketches, and then I would read books to kids online. So that, you know, when they're at home all the time, their parents need a break. It's like, you can put this on, we'll read your favorite book together. And I had episodes where we just like read and sat together. And I used that time to paint a lot of the paintings that I had. I wanted to capture some of that commotion. There's a painting I have of a woman, almost like a willow tree. If you've ever seen them on the East Coast, are stunning. And each word is one of the words that were in our brains from the pandemic. And it's like that's stuff that I found in the pandemic, to have that. And then after coming out of the pandemic, I really thought there would be a big shift. But I did decide that I wasn't just going to stay in LA anymore. I was going to get representation across the country and be available and open to that. Even now, if someone is truly asking me, I think that my best advice would be to look outside of your market. I don't care where you are. Like Atlanta's working a lot, great. But it may shift again, right? We may all go through these shifts over time. So you better watch out for your career trajectory. Like you should be present, but also think a few steps ahead of the game. So then you have a plan. No matter where it pivots, you're still working.
Right. And now Curta Pants. First of all, that title, I love it. Why is it called Curta Pants? Does that have some sort of meaning?
Yeah, so a kurta is the top that we wear, and the pants underneath are these like massive crotchless one-size-fits-all pants, and they're like huge. Like I'm even stretching my hands out. It's like bigger than the screen. It's just so big for no reason, and they're unisex and they're unflattering. But the idea that I came up with was, okay, I'm blending two cultures, so I want two words. One is the kurta, which is Indian, and pants. Everyone knows pants, but the idea is that these pants are one size fits all, but we as humans are not, and our cultures are not. We're not monoliths. So the idea of these pants being so big and kind of being like, what's going on? It's symbolic of having layers and nuance and not lumping us all in one group.
Yeah. Well, this is the Curta Pants. I can't pronounce it like you, but I'll just call it Curta Pants. Is your directorial debut, and you had that at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood. Love that theater. Have all of our shows there. Now, you wrote it and directed it and acted it, cast it, produced it, and I'm sure you were doing all kinds of stuff. It picked up the awards Best Short in Toronto and Los Angeles, Best Debut Director in Washington, D.C. You go, girl. And it's still winning awards. Are you still entering it in film festivals?
Yes, I think that's the coolest thing. We actually have a film festival called Yellowstone in 2 weeks in India, and it's being played there. And I would love to go, but I got to figure that part out right now. But yes, I'm entering into film festivals because I think that's the best way. And I have met the most incredible and talented people that are friends. We're still texting and calling each other from all these film festivals. And I made sure to go on this big journey around from Toronto to DC, to Chicago, to back to LA, to Nashville, to New York, to back to LA. And I've shot 2 shorts in between all of that. And it's a lot of work, and maybe I'm crazy, probably.
No, you have to do this. This is so important. One of my big pet peeves with when I first started working in the film industry here in LA, people all wanted, of course, wanted you to work on their projects, of course. And we're talking a long time ago. So we're talking copy, credit, meals, right? So you never got it. I mean, you never got your copy, you never got your credit, and the meal, you'd get a bag of chips and they throw a hot dog at you. That was it. But you were excited about it. You were starting out. It was a different time period. 1992 was very exciting out here because we were coming off the 80s, which was very exciting. It was the Brat Pack, and it was all these exciting 80s movies. And then the 90s were just moving into all of these exciting films too. But you never got what they promised you, but you didn't care as long as you were associated with the project somehow. But one of the things I found, which is now a big pet peeve, and I want people to be weary of this and leery, and also really do your homework, because a lot of people out here want you to get involved with their project so they can get a credit on IMDb. They either run out of money and don't finish the project, and it stays in pre-production forever, or they finish it and then they move on to another project and they don't enter it in film festivals and they don't have any follow through. So you have all these actors and cast and crew who work for hours and such long periods of time, and they don't get any kind of reward of even seeing themselves in a film festival. Oh, there's Sharish Nane.
That's my dad. My dad and mom are watching live. So if y'all see
pursuing your dream. Well, thank you.
Who, by the way, they're in the film. My parents are starring the film as well. So is my grandmother, and my brothers worked on crew for it. So this is them. They're here.
Oh, for Curta Pants? Well, they're about to see it. I'm sure they've seen it a million times. But I want to get your viewpoint on that. Have you experienced the same thing where people want you to work on projects and they make promises and then they never finish the project, or they finish it and then move on and they don't submit it to film festivals, and all of your hard work you're never even seen anywhere? Tell me about your.
So when I first started, because I told you I spent that year trying to learn, I was doing films. Like I was saying, my mom, my grandmother, which is mama, and my dad are all watching. My parents, my grandmother, and everyone's here. So
hi, Mom, Mama, Dad, Papa. What do they call in India? What is they call it? Is it Dada or?
There's Baba is older brother in Marathi. Baba is dad, and but in Marathi we say Ai for mom, and Daji and is the word that we call my dad, and Mama Papa is what my dad called his parents. So we kind of all translated, all brought it over. So we're all there. But that's important.
I picked up so many. Well, first of all, I digress, but let's cover this real quick. The first time I fell in love with all things Indian, and you're going to think this is weird, I saw Bend It Like Beckham.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Like, what? Are you kidding? And then I said, I want to go eat Indian food. And so then it went from Indian food to, I want to do this. Then I got involved in loving the Bollywood movies, and I discovered the music and the costumes. And I said, oh my God, I love the culture. Why can't I be Indian? Why can't I be Indian? And then I started watching a show called, it's an indie, what is it called? Match Abroad. Anyway, she's a very famous Indian matchmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. I love this And so she matches all. So I learned so much about the cultures. Like, I didn't know when you went to a temple, you kissed the feet of the older person. I mean, Americans are like, I'm not kissing your feet.
Yeah,
No,
I think
you're
it depends on, like, it depends on, each person, because we touch feet for respect,
yes,
and that's like God's in
it's
everybody.
respect. It's a different culture. And I respect it. I do. And I learned about the cows being sacred and learned about so many things. And I just think the culture is so beautiful. And children still respect the parents, and they take care of the parents like their priority. Here, I'm telling you, the most people will kick their children out of the house at like 18. You're out of school, you're gone, get out, or you're going to work. But now, they're ending up in the basement these days. But we're going back to the different cultures with the kids coming back, whether you want them to or not. But I love the Indian way of life, and I'm so happy to have my friend Manny, because he's teaching us so much more. But my question with Curta Pants was everybody that worked on the project, were they all Indian, or
No.
Except for your co-star? I believe he's African American. What's the movie about? So tell us what the movie is about.
The movie is about bringing someone home and having the conversation with our parents. And I found my parents are not this serious. That's my mom.
Thank you, Nima Nene. Is that right?
Nene, that's her. Nene. Yeah. And
Nene.
The film is about just bringing someone home. Our parents never told us you can't bring specifically anybody home. We didn't have that conversation, but that was not the case for some of my friends. And after George Floyd happened, there were a lot of conversations about how do we talk about anti-Blackness in different communities. And I wanted to have these conversations in a way that we opened more doors than we closed. And I feel like with comedy, people feel okay watching tougher things because there's moments to breathe and you're not preaching at someone, you're having a conversation. So I wanted to talk about anti-Blackness in South Asian culture, but I also wanted to talk about anti-Asianness in Nigerian culture. And we haven't really seen that conversation happening before, but I was wondering how I could do it in 5 minutes in a way that talked about civil disobedience, shot on a cell phone. Okay. So like there were a lot of different ways that we talked about it. And Andrew, who's my co-star, he and I had a lot of conversations. I said, before I write this, I want to make sure that things are done accurately and done right. So we had a lot of conversations, and on set too, he wanted to improvise. I'm like, great, let's have that. And those are what makes the cuts. We had a lot of conversations making sure that I was doing due diligence, not only for our side, but his side, and then together what we wanted to achieve. And sometimes, the episode is about bringing someone home, but not having the traditional approach. So there's a twist. I'm not going to spoil it. You have to see it. But it's resonated with a lot of people in such a lovely way. And that's one thing about festivals. I will tell you guys, if there's a festival in your hometown, bring people. My high school teacher drove an hour to come see my film. My best friends from childhood came. My people I consider sisters, sororities, high school friends, people have seen me grow up. Everybody made an effort in each city. My uncle flew out to a different country to come see it. There's just so much love and friends and family. And I have to say this, Curta Pants, our bathroom was donated by a friend of mine who I dance with. And all this entire film, everyone who donated, supported, shared the campaign, it would not have happened with so much love. This entire film is love. We had food donated from a restaurant here in Sherman Oaks. Everybody went out on the line to believe in me. And that is something that I get emotional. I will never, ever take that for granted. It was just, I still get teary because it's people believed in me. And I didn't think I was going to cry tonight, but it's just.
That's okay. Yeah, it shows you're very appreciative of everybody who helps and does things for you. And people want to help you more when they see how appreciative you are. Now, I think I saw your whole family in the movie. Was that your mother and your baba and your mom?
My mom, my dad, my grandmother, my brother, Curtis, my other brother, assistant directed. The brother who assistant directed is visually impaired, and he came on, and he's a part of that community. He advocates for them. He's a very big advocate. He just moved to LA, and he came on and assistant directed on the shoot. My brother, who produced, helped on set with physical labor as well, and donated money to the film. Like, it was just this huge, colossal effort. My parents, flew out, made sure they prepped and practiced. My grandma actually had, my grandma had a series of mini strokes right before the shoot, and my parents made sure that she went to physical therapy and got her better. And so she's in the film. Like, it just, every one of my family's there, and our crew is so, like, they were incredible. There was stuff that people just showed up to help on the day, and we've got a mix of like the BIPOC crowd and women and representation. Like, it's got everybody, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find someone from each community if I could, and I didn't get a chance to find Native American. I needed to find that. But I wanted to try and get everyone in the film represented, because the story is universal and we go through a lot of similar things. And when we were having lunch, we were sharing stories of things that we find commonalities in our families. And I don't know, I will never stop being appreciative and grateful. And like, Priscilla, you're doing it. You're holding space for us. And that is something that most people don't do. And you holding the space and having the conversations and the advice and your show and the light that you have, that's the magic. If anyone wants to know what the magic is of all this, it's people like you. Like, this is the space that we need.
Oh my God, thank you. I wasn't expecting a compliment, but I'll take it like a piece of candy to me.
I don't say anything I don't really like. So
your family, my God. I mean, I just saw that little clip, which we're getting ready to play. But when I saw the picture, which we played earlier, who is the guy that was in the turquoise blue? What is it called?
I'm in the blue. I'm in the silver. I'm the girl looking up. And then
this was the guy with the beard.
Andrew's
and he was looking up. I said, oh my God. Is he in character, or did he decide to? Yeah, there he is.
This one. So that's my brother Chandan. Chandan is my brother who's he assistant directed. He's the one I told you, he's visually impaired. He represents for the community. This is my grandmother. On my phone was my brother because he couldn't make it at the time. My other brother Kayla, who produced. My dad, and then my mom. My grandma's in the middle. And this is our family.
God, look how cute your grandmother is. Oh, I want to just pick her up and squeeze her. She's so adorable. And your mother looks fabulous in that orange.
Yeah. We have matching outfits. We have matching outfits, so I have that one too.
And your father, may I say, he's a handsome man.
Yes.
Mama, I'm not flirting with him, but he's a handsome man. You did good.
You picked him for his green eyes. He's driving. Yes, he has green eyes, and yes.
Oh, wow, that's rare. Wow, he's a looker. Boy, now I know why you're so beautiful. Your mother's beautiful. Your dad's beautiful. You got the beauty running through the Nile. What is the river in India? Actually, it's not.
The Ganga River.
Thank you. I was thinking, I knew that. I learned that. Now, Curta Pants, we're about to see it. We're going to look at, if you can hear me, executive director, make sure we play Curta Pants first. I think I had her demo reel that I was going to do first, but I want to do Curta Pants first. So we are going to play. I think the trailer is so short. How long is Curta Pants? The whole
movie's 5 minutes, and the trailer, it's so hard to pick anything from it because it'll give it away. And so I'm just like, okay.
It was only 15 seconds though.
Yeah, it's 15 seconds and like it's super short, but the movie's 5 minutes, and so it was hard to
pick. Oh man, I want to see. I saw the trailer and I said, "Oh, I want to see the rest. Where's the rest? How can I see the rest?" So when we come back, tell us how we can see the whole 5 minutes. Because you're holding it out. Well, you probably have to wait until it's out of the film festival. But you can explain to people why that is. Okay, so without further ado, here's Curta Pants by the gorgeous, sexy Chhaya Nene.
Do they know that I am a black man?
Why are you calling us?
That's all you're going to get, people. That's all you're getting. See,
Give it a
now,
little
are you
taste.
seeing that? And you going, why did you do this to me? Now I gotta wait. Now explain why we can't see the whole 5 minutes, and because you're still entering in film festival. Explain for people who don't understand that.
So we're in the film festival circuit. It's important to give each festival their chance to see it. So I can't release or put anything really online right now until we're out of our film festival circuit. And we're doing a big run. Go big or go home. So we are doing a nice big long run. We have festivals that go through the next July. So we are making sure, but if you are in LA, we have a screening in February in Pasadena. So there will be a chance to come see it then. And then I'm waiting on more festivals. India is in 2 weeks. Pasadena is going to be in February. And yeah, we're just waiting as
Okay, all right. So you have to put this on your to-do list, girl. Put me down for 2. My husband and I are going to come. As a matter of fact, if you want me to bring like 25, I will. But I don't want to be. Put me down. Give me an invitation. And then in January is when we start our film festival submissions again in January. We just had the submitted to the Sholo Film Festival. It's based out of Arizona, but it's a fantastic festival. You should see these awards that are given out. And Martina is the person that's in charge, and she does it up. Let me tell you, she does it. I'm going to the Oscars after party. I actually went not last year, the year before, and she's one of the people that helps organize it, and she does it up. The swag bags are just
I love it.
Anyway. Put on your to-do list to submit to the Sholo Film Festival and then all the other festivals that I'm in. Not saying that I can do anything.
Nope.
Why?
Nope. I hear it.
But you never know.
You never
There's
know.
a bunch of nepotism in the industry. But yeah, so just please remember that. Now, the next one we're going to see is your demo reel. Now, girl, I wrote this down. I said, I cannot let her go by without asking this question. So, first of all, when I watched her demo reel, I nearly fainted. You know why? Because you were in a scene with my obsession, Jensen Ackles. I love this man. I love him as an actor, not just because he's a total hottie, but because his characters are always, oh my God, they're always so intense. He's always present. Mason, he has a natural, energetic flow. He's just always so believable in every single role that I've seen him in. And when you're watching him, you see him going through the thought process. A lot of times when you watch actors, you're looking at them and they have this blank stare, and that's because they're waiting for their line. And you go, why are they? But he's not like that. So anyway, I was so sad when Supernatural went off the air. And but what I have been excited about is that he's been on a couple episodes of the show Tracker. I don't know if you're watching it. Now, Justin Hartley is a hottie too. But when Jensen comes on, I'm like, what? Oh my God, there he is. Well, personally, I was thinking to myself that why? No, I love Justin Hartley, but why would they not have cast Jensen Ackles as the tracker? I mean, this man tracked demons, for God's sakes. How hard would it be for him to track humans? So I'm just hoping he's on it a little bit more because I love him. So my question is, oh my God, what was it like to work with him? Did you get to smell him? Were there any hairs that you plucked from his head that you're willing to sell me? Now, tell me.
He's a lovely human. We were in the same car ride over to set, and it's funny because he kicks down the door, and this actually happened. I told him, I was like, I'm gonna scream. Like, I get scared very easily at kicking, and he kicked opened the door. I screamed so loud. He was just laughing. And I was laughing. The whole house that we were in was laughing. Because I was like, I warned you. And it took us like 5 minutes of us just like laughing together, just rolling.
Was that part of a scene, or did he just kick the door in?
He had to kick it in, but I got scared every time because that man can kick a door. Like, it was so strong and so loud, and the door goes boom, and I jumped out of my skin every time. So I had to be like, don't scream, don't scream. But the first time I screamed, I mean, like, he was dying, Catherine was dying, I was dying, and we were laughing so hard, and I was just like shaking for a second. Like, it just took everyone a beat. And every time he'd hear me stifle my scream, he would laugh as well, because we were just, I get scared, sorry, like, I'm not jump scares, don't do it to me. He was awesome and talented and kind and like great. We just had a lot of fun the whole time.
What
like,
show was that on? That wasn't on Supernatural?
That was Big Sky that I did. And I'm telling you, that was another thing. Like, I talked about that show because everyone was collaborative and open and warm, and stunts were cool, and like, it was just such a fun time. I had such a good time.
Still on the air, or is
It's
that
not on the air anymore? But I don't know. It was so.
Where did
fun.
they film that?
New Mexico. We went to New Mexico for that. And gosh, New Mexico is gorgeous, and I got to spend some time out there. And I love that. We're working as actors. We're out there, we're filming, and then we have time to ourselves and just walking around and absorbing it. And I was like,
time for yourself. Every second should have been spying on Jensen Ackles. My God, how could you even be next to him and not be all a Twitter?
I have an actor that I feel that way about as well, and Jensen is amazing. There's an Indian actor, Hrithik Roshan. I know my family's laughing because I mentioned him, but I love that man, and I'm like that too around him. I'm like,
oh, really? Is he in any of the Bollywood movies that I would have seen?
He is. One day, my mom did me a very big kindness when I was 13 and gave me her ticket to go see him, and I actually met him in real life, and I have that picture forever, and it will always be.
Will you send me a link of one of his movies so I can rent it?
Yeah. And then once you do, you're not going to stop, and you'll be like, dang it, Chhaya. Let's you wait. It's an experience. Girls' night, me time. It's great.
I love Bollywood music. If you ever feel, now this is a little tip from me. If you ever feel a little sadula, it's sad, but I like to do the sadula part. If you just put on some Bollywood music, and all is right in the world again. Am I right? Or
you're right. We listen to older Indian music, my brothers and I. We have this great time. We have this great relationship, and we like sing songs that our parents sang to us in the cars and growing up, and like with my grandmother in India, going to visit her. We all have this music and songs that have stayed with us and interwoven. And since she's watching, I'm wearing your necklace. As she can see it,
beautiful.
So wow. We have this, like, music we sang, our parents sang to us growing up, and we make them sing the songs, tell us stories at night again, time and time again, and it's just something we have forever. So yes, Bollywood music, older music, I love it.
See, I wouldn't know the difference between old and new music if you just played some songs. All I know is that it makes me feel happy. So I don't care what it is or who's singing it. It just sounds good to me. Now let's look at your demo reel, because now I want to look at Jensen Ackles again. Okay, so without further ado, let's see your demo reel, Chhaya Nene.
There he is.
Take without Camille Perez.
I'm his assistant.
Camille.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Let me guess. Her insurance policy.
She's gonna corroborate my story. Take Redmond down together.
We can. We will. I'm in love, so if you don't want him... Tina, it's Peter Ruskin. I mean, I don't want him to see me this way.
Would you like me to tell him something for you?
Just that I need time. Okay. More for me.
You sure?
Then he undid my hair.
What?
Complimented me on the sheen. Suggested I wear it down more often. Framed my face, he said.
Surely, he never told us that.
Would you?
What what I want.
Admit that you violated a person's human rights.
You are so versatile as an actress, aren't you? And your accent was so perfect. Of course, you know how to do the Indian accent, but it wasn't because you speak without one. And I thought maybe you might not be such a strong accent, but you really rolled those R's. Oh my God, such a. Now, what I didn't ask you was, did you go? You seem like you're a natural actress, right? Did you take acting classes, or is this all natural?
I did take classes. I had improv classes that I wanted to take, and that helped me a lot with the commercial world. And then I took classes audition technique, which helped me a lot of like, okay, I've already been in front of a camera for journalism, so I can do that. But on the acting side, it was bigger because I'd done theater, right? So you learn how to bring it smaller and nuanced. And a lot of these roles just, I try and find the me, where the me meets the character, because it's not me, but where do we have in common? And I try and speak as the character, talking about an experience I might have had. And I find, I love acting class, but there's a point that we all reach that I feel like we need to go beyond our acting classes because we're in there for comfort. And we need to go out and start making our own work and come back again when you want to keep working on your skills. You should be always training, but a part of training is doing these films, doing short films, working on it. You're exercising that muscle in real time. You're actually acting. And I feel like that is where you learn so much from someone else. When you read a scene, you perform a scene, that's great with technique. When there's actually someone this close to you and you have that energy where you need to be like, okay, I can feel your electricity. That's an acting masterclass when you're on a short film and you have that time.
Yeah. Wow. And what? How did you? Were you a nun? You were a nun at the end, right?
Yes, I was a nun. So it's again a film about our body.
What were the names of the projects? Can you remember?
Yes, I can. The first one is Big Sky. The second one was the OA, where I played the sassy nurse. And the last one is called Perspective, and that was from Civil Disobedience. And
yes. Yeah. Why? Now, see that? I knew that looked familiar. Okay, so how you came to be on my show was through a very good friend of mine named Linda Palmer. And I was involved in being a producer on one of the Civil Disobedience series. And she said that Curta Pants, I hope I'm correct about this, Curta Pants is in the Civil Disobedience series. Tell me how that came to be, how you came to.
Yeah, so I was on Perspective, which you saw, and then we were talking, kind of working on our YouTube show kind of outside of that, and having these conversations. We had so many, like I worked with Andrew and I went onto the South Asian side and kind of, I think we interviewed 40 people of their experiences with kind of discrimination and racism, and then their stories that they wanted to be told. And it was really, really, really interesting just having these conversations. And so we'd had the show outside of it, and I knew at the time when we were talking and I was producing with them as well that there was room for another episode. And I think this is another place where we had a conversation about it and was like, there's room for it, and I really want to write it, and I wanted to have something. And Andrew and I had worked together for a while, and we were discussing, and the timing was right in terms of like the socio-political climate. And so in writing it, I was really scared to send it and get notes back, but I'm going to knock on wood because I don't know if this will happen again, but I got 0 notes. Like I sent it to a bunch of different people and I got 0 notes in there. And Linda and team had said like, no, let's shoot this. And so it was a matter of time of finding it. So I found the location through my friend. Obviously my family's in it. Other people came in, and it became this thing that like I hadn't directed before. And we'd had this conversation about directing and authentic storytelling and finding the right voice for it. And so then I got to learn through everyone and through Linda and everyone about directing and watching them. Then I asked some of my other friends, like, how do you do it? And just had this experience on set that was just beautiful. Like, it was so fun.
Linda is fantastic to work with. I have been one of her producers in many films over the years, and boy, she's so super cool and chill, and just so organized. And her skills as a production designer, really, I mean, you're getting two great people for the price of one. She's a great production designer and a great director. Who doesn't want to be in her film?
And cinematography and editing, like it's
exactly. Now, what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing the entertainment industry today?
I think one is the tax incentive. The fact that they want to double the incentive. It's going to take a year to put it back on the ballot. It has to be passed. I feel like since things are moving out, like I said, the journalism side gets in on this, but I've gone to a couple different restaurants that I love, and they're asking me to bring people back to their restaurants because they're not getting enough business during lunch and the dinner rush. And it's like, and these are people right across the street from Warner Brothers and like restaurants that usually would get a nice lunch crowd, but because everyone's hurting, everyone's staying at home. So I feel like we need to bring the tax incentives back. And collectively, I mean, I think everyone should have a self-tape option, but I think in the room time, if there's a way to do it economically, because I know it was tough before, but I feel like that chemistry that people have, and I have seen some offers on auditions that you can come in, if you'd like to, you can request it. You can't really match that. And I feel like that was really cool to have again. So I feel like if there's some kind of hybrid system that would work and be equitable, I would love to see that. I think, I think the recognition too, right? Like casting hasn't been in the Oscars category. I feel like if we start uplifting the roles of everyone and giving their due diligence, people will fall in love with the business. As we forget, it's show business. We all love the show part of it, but the business side has been neglected to the point where, like I will tell you, India has some incredible content. One of my favorite things to do, and I cover and help host and do different things for the Indian Film Festival of LA. The amount of talent in the indie world and on television is so good that a bunch of my friends during the strikes actually went to India to work because there's work happening and the content is beautiful and the cinematography is beautiful. And I knew that Europe is doing really well as well. So I feel like unless we start taking some of that back into our own hands of creation, the industry is at a weird point where it's almost like a purging, and I feel like it'll reshape itself, but it's hard for people to just move out here and like get into the industry and work because you can feel the melancholy. Like I want to say there's almost a ghost town in LA in different ways, right? It feels weird. I don't like it's not the same feeling anymore.
No. Oh my God, you're so right. My husband and I were talking about this. We talk about this all the time. Something is gone. Something is missing. I don't feel magic anymore. I don't feel the same energy. And I thought, well, maybe other people are feeling it all around the world since COVID. It really drained a lot of spirit and soul out of people. But then there were so many changes. People were working remotely. And then, I have friends who are casting directors who loved getting in the room with the actors, and now they do everything, EcoCast now, which a lot of actors have said they love because they didn't want to spend the time in traffic in LA. It's crazy with the traffic and the gas and everything, but it's something has happened. Now, here's what I would like to get your opinion on. In reference to the fast-paced emergence of AI in the entertainment industry, what do you foresee happening to actors? Because honestly, I don't know if you saw the movie Indiana Jones, the recent one where they had Princess Leia, and I swear to God, I didn't even know that wasn't her, and it was a total AI. And then when they did Indiana Jones, they made him look like he was at 21. I gotta say, I was blown away and impressed. And I have just a little secret here. Well, it's not a secret if I tell it, but it's not really a secret. Okay, so I have friends that work in the studios, like the big studios, and they said, Priscilla, it's going to go more AI than you can ever believe, because honestly, we don't want to deal with the moods and the attitudes of the actors. We will save so much money with working with AI. So they said, whether they like it or not, it is happening, that eventually they are going to be at least doing half and half with the AI, with the cast and the crew and stuff. And I said, oh my God, how is that going to work? Because the life and blood and heart and spirit are humans. But they said it's going to happen within less than 20 years. They're going to be doing at least 75% AI. What do you think of that?
It's funny. I saw this when it came with journalism, when we used to be in the studio and we'd have a floor director and we'd have 3 camera ops. Like, I grew up knowing how to do that. And then I see in the newsroom, now it's just 2 anchors and 2 robots. And the robot camera moves on the jib and it comes in and it does the shot. And you don't have the floor director. Like, positions have been eliminated. And I do think that, listen, I love efficiency and I'm all about trying to get things done in a timely and efficient manner. But that being said, it's like you're losing, like you said, the magic. And I think AI, like, I understand why it's a tool, but it's like when everyone had a Furby in the 90s. Now it's going to sit on your shelf for you, and like no one's going to use. Like, I don't think that we won't use it, but I feel like when we have a fad, everyone is all in right now. And like every buzzword, every tech company is looking at AI. Like, it's part of the names of stuff like that because it's the newest trend, I want to say. But there's a way of, like, when we kind of revert back to, like, cursive was taken out of schools and now cursive is being re-added back to schools because it's useful and people want to learn skills. And like, same thing with writing a letter. Like, I use my phone, but I handwrite my to-do list as well, because writing it, and that's how I memorize my lines. My parents used to make me do this. I know you're watching. They used to make me improve my handwriting and write things down 5 times, and I hated it. Well, now I remember it. So now I do that with my lines. I write them 5 times and I actually can remember it and say it, past and not think about it. And so I do feel like there's an art of coming back to it. I do understand the egos, and I feel like that's the biggest killer of creativity, is like when you have to deal with like somebody who has a problem. It just brings that down, the energy down. And egos get in the way of like filming and all kinds of things. We were kind of going back to that with films and how things don't get made and they stay because of problems. But I feel like while that is happening and while AI and stuff like that, because it was scary, like that's what we did striking for, right? Like, we were striking to not have our image. I still get offers of somebody saying like, can we use your image and likeness? We'll pay you $170,000 for your lifetime. I'm like, hell no, because I'm not going to give up right now the right of my image and likeness in perpetuity. And I think people who are looking for work who start off, they feel that because there's not enough work. Everyone wants to work, but I feel like being taken advantage of. I'm like, no, and I know who you are, and I see you, and I will not work with you. Like, I'm not going to do that right now, where we're taking advantage of other humans, and not even in the future. I don't want to be a part of that system. So we have to evolve. And I've seen a flourishing. I was talking to filmmaker friends about this, of indie work. Indie work right now is going through the roof because we can be creative. It's all of us. And in indie, I'm sure, as you know, there is nobody, like, you're doing everything, and everyone has to be involved, and everyone's doing 2 or 3 jobs because you come together as a collective. And like, one of the films the first film I told you to book, A Crooked Somebody, that film was one of my favorite experiences. I met somebody that I love very much today. She and I are very good friends from that, but you see how much work that was. And that was my first experience with an indie film and understanding how much work goes behind the scenes, but it was so chill and lovely. And like, everybody on that shoot was cool and fun. And I have so much respect, and they've gone on to do other projects, but I feel like AI, while it's daunting and we're going to have to find a way to live with it, kind of like COVID, I feel like that's what it is. And not that it's synonymous with COVID, but I do feel like you learn to live with it, right? It's going to be around forever. Like COVID is going to be around forever. So now we got to figure out, how can we use it to our advantage? Then how can we stop and see, like, we've gone too far and we want to have, like, I miss seasons that were more than 8 episodes. I miss like following the show and being involved in it, and going too fast. I feel like when we rush things, it's another point. When we're talking about old Bollywood versus new Bollywood, there's some fun new songs to dance to, but old Bollywood would have poetry in their lyrics. I think slowing down a little bit and coming back to that is where we will come back. I think we're going to ride this really fast. Everyone's going to follow the trend, hook, line, and sinker. Then they're going to freak out, and then we'll come back to our happy medium.
I hope so. My goodness, I hope so. can you please give one must do and one don't do to be successful in any area of working in the entertainment industry for our aspiring people?
Must do is find the kernel of who you are, the truth of who you are, and bring that to every single thing that you do. Keep that honesty. Don't change who you are or give up what you want to please. Like the people pleaser part of you, that like you must be genuine. And people can tell the difference of when you're excited and passionate and real. Bring that real, fun, loving energy to every single thing that you do, and you will get there. Whatever it is that you want and you desire, you will get there. It may not be in the way that you expect it or you envisioned it, but you will get to that vision and it'll be a peaceful place. That is a must do. And I guess like that, I fully believe, like I say this, I've gotten everything I've ever asked for in my life. But one, it didn't come in the time that I wanted it. And two, it didn't come in the exact way that I wanted it. So it came on its own time and when it was ready in the way that I needed it to show up. So I do believe that. And the don't do is, it's the other side of that coin, the disingenuousness that happens of looking out for me. Number one, a lot of this time things are transactional and people get guarded and they can feel when you want something from them just for the sake of bolstering yourself. And it sucks. Like it's so icky and it reads desperate. Like don't be that person who's like, I just need to hear from you. Like that's the only reason I'm talking to you. People are humans, human beings just like you. And that honest, open heart for everybody while not people pleasing is the way that you're going to go ahead.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. I mean, I know, of course, being here, when you're here for so long and working with so many people, you meet a lot of celebrities. So I have a lot of A-list, they like to say that, celebrity friends. And one of the things that I personally noticed, and something you may want to adapt, aspiring actors, is when you are talking to someone, pay attention, look the person in that. Like Johnny Depp. Johnny, when I was talking to him, oh my God, his eyes never left mine. If you go to a party, a lot of times people are looking around for the next best thing, the new shiny ball. They're talking to you and they're looking around. That is going to be noticed right away because you never know who you're talking to and you never know who they know that's going to get you to the next level. So please concentrate, pay attention, and give that person respect. And every A-list actor that I know, when you're talking to them, they never break eye contact. They're really interested. And that's how I always know when I meet an actor who's just come out here. And when they have that level, I say, oh my God, I'm going to see that person on a top TV show or they're going to be an A-list actor because they've got the basic ingredient, which is focus and listening, which is half the battle. So my tip, pay attention, people. Don't go looking for the shiny ball. And the last question I want you to answer is, if you had to work with your absolute dead or alive, past or present, if you had to work with one male, one female, who were your absolute favorite actors and you were their child, who would they be?
Okay, I can't pick Rithik because I don't think of him as a dad. Parents, let me think of them as their child. Oh gosh.
You're in a movie. You're getting cast the starring role, and you can bring anyone back, even if they were an actor who's dead from the 40s, 50s, 60s, or they're alive, dead or alive.
I know the male actor. His name is Rajendra Kumar. He is an older Bollywood actor, and I would definitely love to play like if he was again. I don't know. I feel the charm of his movie making. I don't know. Maybe I'm an Indian grandma at heart, probably, but I would bring him back. There was just like a kindness to his face, and I used to love watching his movies. And maybe it's nostalgia, but I would say him. I would bring back if it was to play. If we're just doing strict Indian casting, and female is, oh gosh, this is so hard. I'm also going back because I really like the movie Hotel Rwanda, but like if I could have, that experience as well. I really like true stories and biopics and real life events and like Blood Diamonds. I'm trying to find a female actress that I just, who I really think is like Catherine Zeta-Jones is just, she's effortless and beautiful. And I think there's just this badassness to her that I really like a lot. And I put her in the same category as Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek, of these women who are just timeless, fierce, badass women. And I feel like that I really liked. Also, like I'm embodying today Vaijanti Mala, and I feel like those actresses, these strong female types that are just lived their lives not because they were female, but because they were who they were. That's who I want to embody. And I feel like I would see them as like mom and dad cast. I would love that, to have a little bit of our family still involved in everything we do.
Is there a large Indian community of actors in LA?
Oh yes, there's, LA is funny. New York is smaller, LA is bigger. And we have actually next week, because it's Diwali, there's a South Asian happy hour mixer that happens, and everybody comes and kind of, we all meet through that again and see each other. And like, there's definitely a lot of different events that happen for us. So there is quite a big community. And then I would say on TV, but that's something that I wish I could change. And I would say this, that like, there is room for all of us. And I would love to see more people, all of us on TV in these different roles, because there is a space for everyone. And I think sometimes there's some talent, like the people on TV are amazing. Obviously they're incredible, but there's also a lot of amazing talent that's out there. And I would love to see some of those people who I know bust their hump on TV more, because they're beautiful talent, and there's moments of like silence in their work that you're like, you lean in, and that's what you want from casting. You want someone to watch your tape and go from like, okay, to be like, oh, okay, like I see that moment is what you're looking for. And I know there's a lot of talent in the South Asian community. Same thing with the Black community and other communities that I'm friends with. We have these conversations quite frequently of giving these shots. And so that's one thing I'll tell you, Priscilla, that I've decided is that I'm not waiting anymore. My mom had said that too, and my dad has said that. Like, my mom says, don't wait for other people to make it happen. You make it happen yourself. And, and my grandmother has that energy and fighting spirit as well. And my brothers have that in their respective fields. And my brother wants to direct, the other one is a lawyer. And like, we have this thing of creating it for ourselves. And that's what I'm going to do. And I've decided that, like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to not just talk the talk. I am going to make sure. So that's why my set looks like it does. So we have someone from the visually impaired community. We have cast and crew that are from different backgrounds and ethnicities, because if I'm not writing it and doing it, no one is going to do it. No one is coming for me. No one's being like, let's give Chhaya a part. I know that. I'm very aware of that. So if they're not going to, my brother and I have just written a script about a day in the life of his visual impairment, and basically a comedy of that. And I think that the more that we do that, and we bring on the people that are so talented but are not getting their light, that is what I want to do with my work. Maybe it'll never happen for me, but I want to make sure that it never happens for anybody else again. If I can open that door, then that's what I want. That's the legacy of the acting world that I want to create. I want to have the attention and focus and the stardom or whatever it is to be able to turn the light back to the communities that need it, that don't ever get that chance. And if I can open those doors and hold the door open to let people walk through, if it happens for me, great. But if not, that's what I want. I want my acting to leave that door open for everybody who deserves it.
Well, I was going to tell you, please write more scripts for Indian-based stories, because I know I personally eat them up. I love them. As a matter of fact, I cannot remember the name of it, but I came across a sitcom about an Indian family. I'm going to start watching it next week. An Indian family in Pittsburgh.
The Pradeeps. Yeah, I know people wrote on that show. I'm so excited for that.
I can't wait to watch it. But I talked to my casting friends, my writing friends, and I say, why are there not more stories about Indian people who live here in America, and we want to hear their stories? You guys have a way with comedy, and even the tone of your voice, how it rolls, and it just makes you feel happy. We want to hear your stories. We want to see your talent. I have never seen an Indian person in any Bollywood movie that wasn't talented. It's like they're all stars in the movie. movie, even the small parts. I'm like, wow. So please start writing more stuff from stories about your community and things, and do documentaries. Your brother would be a perfect person to star in the documentary about visually impaired people. There's so much you can do and so many stories I know you can tell. So, and you already won Best Director. You've got your street cred. You got the street cred, Chhaya. Go ahead, but please pioneer your own way. Get out there and do it. Don't wait, because you're very young now, but let me tell you, time goes fast. Time waits for no one. And you think that, a week, a month, a year, next thing you know, 10 years of your life have gone by. Don't wait around. And, right now you're young, you're beautiful, you've got that ability to play any type of character. But, there is ageism, unfortunately, as you well know. And the older you get, the less parts even A-list actresses aren't getting hardly any roles anymore. So don't wait. Get out there and do it now, girl. Do it now.
Yes, I'm doing it now. I have 5 films that I'm currently involved in right now, and they're making their way. I have them going across the country, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. We're going to write it as our family. We're very strong. We're going to write it together. And if no one opens that door, then we're going to do it. And I can't wait. And I can't wait to share it with the world. And these are beautiful stories for everybody. And they're relatable.
Yes.
They came from an Indian person with a universal message, and it's still celebrating our uniqueness as a community. And I can't wait. And like I said, it's people like you who create this platform that we also get this chance to talk about it. And we need more of that on either side. I try and do it, and I appreciate and have a lot of respect for you creating that space for us as well.
Oh, yes. And as a matter of fact, I'm already thinking about 3 of my friends that I'm going to, if with your permission, I would love to have them book you on their shows. Guy, very popular entertainment show based out of Chicago. I got a guy in New York and a guy in Miami, and they would love to have you on the shows, and they all love Indian films. So right away, I'm like, oh my God, they don't even know that I'm having a beautiful Indian entrepreneur is what a femapreneur. You're a femapreneur. Right. But with your permission, I would love to forward your stuff and have them book you so you can talk about your show. Oh, is that Sharish Nene?
Yeah, my dad.
You guys did magic. Oh my God. Thank you, Sharish Nene.
Yeah.
I love your family. I want to come over and eat some.
You should actually, and I mean that. Come DC. Thank you, Minnie, for watching as well. And my brothers are here. Great back. Everyone's watching and supporting.
Thank you. Now, everybody tune in. Now, you're going to have to wait a little while until her 5-minute short comes out. But she's going to be creating and making other things happen. So put me on the list. And if you want to follow her, you keep everything updated, right?
Yes. I'm very updated. On my Instagram, it's very updated. You'll see stories. I'm very consistent.
So people should go to Instagram first at Chhaya Nene, CHHAYANENE, YouTube, CHHAYAS, Nene, Nene, and probably not Facebook, but anyway, Chhaya Nene actress on Facebook. And I'm sure you have a LinkedIn somewhere that has everything. A link tree. I'm sorry.
Yes, I have LinkedIn. I'm getting a link tree. I'm on TikTok as well.
You gotta get a link tree. Oh my God. I thought I was so tired of writing every single social media site. When Linktree came out, I lost my mind. Like, oh my God. The only problem with Linktree is it has a weird URL and it's very hard. If you type Linktree, nobody finds it. It doesn't go there. So I hope somebody else comes out with a better URL. But please go to our website, csnene.com, and we're going to see that 5-minute movie.
The Curta fans coming to the theater.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, family. Nene family. We couldn't have had as much fun with all their Shanti.
And then my brother, And my other brother
Sean,
is right here in the room too, so is Chandler. You're here. Oh.
She is a star. Oh, you are a star, girl. Thank you so much, and I wish you the very best of luck. Please loop me in and let me know whenever I can promote any of your projects on the show.
Thank you, Priscilla. I can't wait to chat some more. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.